In 1986, the Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida administration introduced the Structural Adjustment Program (SAP). This program involved getting loans from International Monetary Fund (IMF) and the World Bank to stabilize a country's economy. As a result of this structural adjustment program, the policies and structure of the banking sector changed. The number of banks increased from 40 in 1985 to 125 in 1991. Licenses were given and more banks sprang up as a result. The teeming number of banks led to stiffer competition and aggressive marketing strategies were utilized. Electronic banking came to be recognized as one of these strategies as commercial banks became better informed of the importance of leveraging on electronic channels for banking in Nigeria. However, Nigeria did not truly adopt electronic banking system until the early 2000s, as the use of raw cash was still prevalent in the Nigerian economic system. It is in order to further promote the growth and awareness of electronic banking and electronics payments that a group of Nigerian bankers, namely Uchenna Okodo, Ronke Kuye, Wumi Ogumbi, and Chuma Izirim, formed the Committee of E-Business Industry Heads (CeBIH) in 2009, a pressure group with a clear objective to create a platform and a forum where heads of electronic banking, digital banking, electronic channels in Nigerian banks can come together to share ideas for the growth of e-business in their respective banks, despite the competitive nature of the business environment. The vision of CeBIH is to promote electronic banking services in line with global best practices, whilst driving its adoption through right practices, standards, technologies and public awareness programs in Nigeria.
I believe CeBIH was founded a Committee of E-Banking Industry Heads. That's how it was known at the time, before it was now changed to Committee of E-Business Industry Heads. So that sort of coincided with the time that we were told that we needed to change from swiping of cards to chip and pin. And we were given such a short period to do that, which was almost impossible. Because in other locations, they usually would give them like a year or two, because we did know that other places changed, converted to chip and pin. But we were only given, I think, about 4 months or something like that. So we were trying, because it involved a lot and it was almost impossible. And we had also some of our colleagues would talk in the industry that, how are we going to do this? It's impossible. Then some of us got together, we went to meet CBN that, look, you've only given us 4 months or something. We're not going to be able to do this. A lot of technology involved, a lot of things involved. We would have to also replace all our cards. So that was when the thought started, that, what, we need to start working as one. And so I got in touch with a colleague of mine at the time, Wumi Ogumbi, who was in Zenith. And I also had another colleague that I was friendly with, who was Uche Okwodu. She was in, at the time, Bank PHB. So we got talking about it and we said, what, why don't we all come together and set up some form of committee where we're all together and we speak with one voice.
We had a group of us that thought that it was wise for us as industry practitioners, to come together, to create a forum, where, our members, could interact, and discuss, developments in the industry.
We had the likes of Chuma, Dele Adeyinka, and some other people. We used to attend a meeting together, a CBN meeting together. So we all got ourselves together and we decided, why don't you come to GT Bank at a certain time? So they all came round to the office and we discussed that, look, we need to have a body where we could speak, where we could also control, we could influence, not control, influence policies relating to us, especially regarding this conversion to chip and pin. And we had such a short period. It didn't make sense at the time for us to continue to compete when we were only just starting. If we continued to compete, we'd probably just kill ourselves, in terms of cards and e-payment.
The vision of CeBIH is formed with the following objectives. 1. to articulate and contribute views on the formulation and implementation of policies, laws, and regulations affecting electronic payment. 2. Collaborate with and advise the CBE and Central Bank of Nigeria on regulations affecting electronic business in banking in the country. 3. To ensure compliance by card associations, vendors, and suppliers to operate within the regulative framework set by CBN. 4. To ensure the attainment of a strategic payment system vision of the Central Bank of Nigeria per time. 5. To promote the global best practices in the operations of e-banking in Nigeria. 6. To encourage and facilitate a forum for interaction and exchange of information, ideas, and experiences among members. 7. To collaborate with members, law enforcement agencies, and regulators to combat fraud in electronic banking. 8. To promote public awareness on the use and value of electronic channels. And 9. To promote interoperability of all e-channels.
So all of what we're doing at CeBIH collaboratively is to be able to drive adoption across all our channels, grow adoption, and encourage all our customers to be able to use electronic digital channels to facilitate payment. And gracefully so, we've achieved major milestones in the last 2 decades in this industry as far as electronic payments is concerned. And the results and the statistics are really proving that it was a good course, and it's also a course in the right direction.
It is on record that CeBIH's first set of meetings were held in 2009 with 8 member banks. Today, the body has 23 commercial banks as members. CeBIH is reputed to be one of the most respected pressure groups in Nigeria and in Africa.
The Committee of E-Banking Industry Head, E-Business Industry Head, CeBIH, as it's been called, is a committee that has very close relationship with the regulator, understanding that they are representative of the banks on e-business, on e-payment, and e-banking. We see ourselves as collaborators. Most times they initiate, some of these policies that you see CBN come out with. When we also have our own regulation, which is initiated, either by us or from other stakeholders, we also bounce it off of them and say, look, here's something we are looking at doing in the central bank. What is your take? It's a very good partnership. It's a good relationship that I think has strengthened the banking and payment industry.
It is today impossible to talk about development in the Nigerian electronic banking and payments space without talking about the pioneering role and efforts of CeBIH since inception of the committee in 2009.
I think that largely the vision has been achieved. One, and is we have a forum where heads of e-business or digital banking in banks, meet, just to discuss and review, developments in the market. We also, set up the forum just to work with other stakeholders to promote and advocate, global best practices in the payment industry in Nigeria. So when you look back, the last 13 years or so that CeBIH has been in existence, I would say that the primary objectives have been largely achieved.
As CeBIH, we've been able to do a lot. Years ago, decades I would say, there used to be a time we have collectively as industry less than 2,000, 3,000 ATMs as one of those channels that are available for our customers to use. Today, we're happy to say we have over 25,000 collectively deployed ATM real estate across all the industry to serve our customers.
CeBIH as a body has been very collaborative in approach, and understandably so, because for the kind of business that we drive, it is very difficult to operate in a silo. So the collaboration is first and foremost among peers, the banks that are members of CeBIH, and then also players in adjacent industries, and of course, essentially, the regulators. So, in the story and the history of CBN has played a very, very, very major role.
So much. CBN has achieved so much. Having to move through successive tenures. What I have seen as an experience in CB is that we tend to grow stronger from one tenure to another, and the more you are able to come up with constructive propositions, the more you are able. CB is an institution today, right, with strong governance, strong protocols, to be a member, to be a leadership, even in terms of how engagements are managed.
So we are creating a hub where people will come and register and get trained on things, and we're going to tap from the knowledge base of different resources we have in the industry, including people that have done e-payments in the either present or past, as well as international resources that will offer certifications on e-payments. In a couple of months, we should be seeing that come live, and everyone is going to benefit from it. Not only people that work from banks, people that want to acquire knowledge on an individual basis, they can come in and get trained.
CeBIH has also made tremendous progress in fostering collaboration among banks and other players within the payment ecosystem, such as microfinance banks, fintech companies, payment processors and switches, card schemes, etc.
It's more about collaboration now, and so it's more about drawing CBN together. And that's why every time they're having any event, they invite us, we go there to reason together. Let's reason together. How can we solve this?
Other achievements by CeBIH include protecting the interests of member banks and their customers, fostering an enabling environment among stakeholders in the Nigerian payment industry, addressing topical issues through quarterly webinars, industry fora, and annual retreat, public enlightenment through social and electronic media.
The Nigerian payment ecosystem is an interesting one. We've done so much, and maybe at some point we undertell our story. Quite a lot has happened with instant payment. You can see that we are leading the charge when it comes to instant payment in Africa. We still have some countries in the West still struggling to adopt instant payment.
I think that CeBIH also needs to further cement our relationship with regulators and government entities whose business, who oversee some parallel industries, as long as it concerns digital financial inclusion and digitization of payments as a whole.
I still believe that we're not there yet. Okay, there are policies, that we're still operating in Nigeria that we believe, do not meet, global best practices. And to be fair to central bank and other regulators, I think, they've considered our peculiarities as a market.
Having the privilege of leading this unique set of practitioners, we've enjoyed a lot together and we've achieved a lot together. But I strongly believe there's a lot much more to achieve. There was some instance where a budget was set, cut out by the regulator to say we need to achieve 80% financial inclusion. I don't think as an industry we've been able to achieve that. So we still have a lot much mileage to cover, of course, in bringing all of those different stakeholders and customers into the financial payment network.
I have absolute confidence in the leadership of CeBIH, and I just want to point it here that the process it takes to become a chairman or an executive in CeBIH is not one that happens overnight. So the executives today are very experienced people.
They are very good people when it comes to building relationships and industry collaboration. I just want to say they must never leave out an opportunity to continue learning.
Indeed, people make a nation. The growth, development, and successes of a nation are truly that of people. As the Committee of E-Business Industry Heads, CeBIH, celebrates her legacies and milestones in the industry, it is a great time to roll out the drum and celebrate. Much more, to celebrate the vision of pioneers who blazed the trail that birthed CeBIH.
This year is deliberately and intentionally put together to celebrate. You will notice that we've never had Hall of Fame in CeBIH's annual retreats. That's, we have evolved from being an association's retreat to industry retreats with a wider audience. It has become something that digital payment industry and all our stakeholders, they look forward to those few days of coming together to rub minds. Now, what we've done with this year is take it a notch higher, leveraging the opportunity provided by the track record and the achievements of CeBIH as an advocacy group working with key stakeholders, where we decided to celebrate the founding fathers, the achievements of CeBIH through the years. And like they say in Nigeria, we needed to laud our achievements. We don't want to light our candle and hide it under the table. We want to celebrate and let the world know this is the achievement of the founding fathers and the rest of us that are taking up the baton and moving it to the next level.
Long live the Committee of E-Business Industry Heads, CeBIH.